by instructor. Okay, so congratulations sa mga nanalo. Elvin, parang meron ata tayong hindi nabigyan no, ng load na isa. Nananawagan po kami. Hindi po namin mahanap no, dun sa registration, sa pre-registration form. Hindi po namin mahanap yung pangalan ni Sir Luis. Tama ba, Elvin? Sir Luis Hernandez. Kung kilala niyo po si Sir Luis, baka po pagbigay alam po ninyo sa kanya na mag-pre-register po siya doon sa link. Linet, pakilagay nga yung link natin doon sa registration sa chat box. Pakisabi na lang po kay Sir Luis na mag-pre-register po siya or mag-register po siya online sa aming link para po ma-load namin yung napanalunan niyang premyo. Okay? Ayan. So of course, hindi pa rin po mawawala no, yung ating mga online games na nasimulan natin kahapon. And also, nagtaas po tayo ng papremyo. Okay? Tumaas po ang ating papremyo, kaya antabayanan nyo lang later on later yung mga natin, yung mga pa-games natin online. Okay? And meron din po tayong palang entries na doon sa online photography contest natin, which is we are showcasing education and women in the new normal. Yun po yung subject natin ng online photography. Yung yung TikTok challenge natin sa mga personnel from higher education institutions, yun na lang po yung parang wala pa po ata kaming nare-receive na mga entries. Bilis-bilisan po ninyo ang paggawa ng mga TikTok ninyo sa ating mga faculty members and non-teaching personnel dahil bukas na po ang deadline ng submission ng mga entries po nila. Okay? Sa mga nag-submit na mga students from the different higher education institutions po sa aming online photography contest, maraming salamat po for sending your entries. We will be posting po yung mga photography, mga photos ninyo online in our Facebook page for virtual judging. Okay? So meron po tayong virtual votes na i-consider dyan as part of the criteria kung sino po yung mananalo. Okay? So yun po yung ating mga announcements, and also uulitin ko lang po yung mga announcements natin, yung mga FB profile picture po ninyo, parang konti pa lang po ata yung gumagamit ng ating 2020 18-day campaign to end vow FB frame, no? So please kindly use po yung ating FB frame that was made by PCW. How to do that? Of course, just click your profile picture and then edit profile picture, and then you click add frame, and then in the search box just type 2020 18-day campaign to end vow. And then hanapin po ninyo yung ginawa po ng PCW at yun po yung gagamitin po natin. Okay?
So yan po yung orange.
Yes sir, ano po yun?
Yung po ba yung orange na frame, yung vow free community?
Yes po, opo. Yun po yung orange na vow free na FB frame. Basta hanapin nyo po yung ginawa po ng PCW po.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sir Jacinto, ikaw ba to?
No, sir. Punong barangay ng Ibalisur.
Okay po. Sige po.
Official ng naka-join.
Okay, sige sir. Maraming salamat sir for joining, and thank you also to DILG for sharing our activity to all of you. Dahil alam po namin ngayong pandemya, nasa community level po ngayon ang mga violence dahil nandyan po hindi po makalabas yung ating mga kababaihan ng ating mga children, no? Kasama po nila yung mga violators sa kanilang mga tahanan. Okay, so ayun po. And we would like also to remind, kung may mga school activities kayo, do not forget to orange your school landmarks or orange your school activities for 18 days. Okay? Ayun. So, kapag nag-post po kayo sa social media or sa FB, of course, huwag kalimutang i-orange. Okay? Yung posting po ninyo or yung activity po ninyo. Okay. Sige. Alright. So, ano pa ba? And yung basic rule po natin, basic house rules natin, alam niyo na po ba yon? Yung CHED. Okay? CHED, C for connectivity. Make sure, no, maganda yung connection, internet connection natin. Internet connection natin, make sure stable yan. Yung mga mobile, kung mobile data man, make sure na may enough load po kayo for that. And H, kapag nasa bahay po kayo, home, nasa bahay po kayo, of course, make sure na conducive, well-ventilated, and soundproof yung kwarto kung saan po tayo nag-set up. Okay? Para hindi naman po ma-distract later on yung ating speaker while she's presenting his or her presentation. And we encourage everyone that after the presentation of our speakers, we encourage you to engage to our speakers by asking questions in relation, of course, to their topic that was presented. And of course, last we have the D, which is the decency and identity. We request everyone not to kindly rename yung mga accounts natin so that we'll be able to properly address you during the open forum. And also, decency, mag-ano naman po tayo. Huwag tayong nakasando, huwag tayong mag-makeup pa rin po tayo, ayan. Okay? Para naman visually maganda pa rin tayo kahit nasa bahay tayo. Ano po? Okay. So, yun po yung ating basic house rules for this Gender and Development Digital Conference. Okay? So, may nakalimutan akong sabihin na gusto kong sabihin. Oo, shout out po pala sa ating mga participants last week, no? Last week, in our FB posting, in our live streaming, in our FB page, in the morning, we were able to reach 8,619 people. Okay? Maraming salamat for viewing, for watching, and for learning with us during our morning session last week. And in the afternoon, meron din po tayong na-reach na 7,097 people. Okay, maraming salamat. Congratulations. And not only that, shout out na rin po doon sa mga participants natin who joined us in our FB page and in our YouTube channel. Okay, we have participants from Oriental Mindoro, Makati, Capiz, Apari, Rizal, Pagadian, Mindoro, Iloilo, Abra, Bacolod, Puerto Galera, Negros Oriental, Masbate, Lanao del Sur, Bohol, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, and we have also participants from Doha, Qatar. And of course, our participants from the different higher education institutions in Region 1. Okay, maraming salamat po sa ating mga schools from Pangasinan, from La Union, from Ilocos Sur, and also from Ilocos Norte. Maraming salamat po for joining us last week during our opening program in our 18-day campaign to end violence against women. Okay, so yun po. Maraming salamat. I hope you are still here with us, okay, for this 2-day Gender and Development Digital Conference. Okay, so for day 1 today, our focus will be on integrating gender and development in the trilogical functions of higher education institutions. That is why we invited experts in gender and development kung paano po natin ma-integrate yung GAD concepts natin sa ating mga curriculum, sa ating mga research studies na ginagawa sa ating mga eskwelahan, and also sa mga extension activities po. Lalo na ngayon na may pandemya. no? Ano yung mga, kung paano ba natin i-integrate yung God concepts na yan sa mga extension activities natin. And tomorrow, December 2, ang focus naman po natin ay different laws and self-tactics. Okay, ayan. Kung sino po sa inyo gustong matuto ng karate, mga ganyan, kung paano nyo protektahan yung mga sarili ninyo kapag nakaka-encounter kayo ng mga situations. Okay, ayan. So, meron tayong self-tactics. Ano ba yung topic ni sir? Self-defense tactics pala. Okay, ayan. We invited what we call this experts from Police Regional Office. Of course, that is our last topic tomorrow. And we also, in the morning, our first topic will be the discussion of the new law regarding Safe Spaces Act, okay, by Attorney Septon de la Cruz, and to be followed by the discussion of Anti-Vowsy Act by Attorney Jeffrey Agtara. Okay? So, yun yung mga topics natin tomorrow. Safe Spaces Act, Anti-Vowsy Act, and also Self-Defense Tactics for Women. Okay? So, yun yung mga topics natin tomorrow. So, sana hindi po kayo mawawala, ano? Tomorrow. Ay, akala ko from Israel. From Israel yung ano. Good morning, Sir Israel Lagorn. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. So, time check, it's 9:40. I guess my team is already ready. Ma'am Angie, ready na po ba tayo for the introduction? Yes? Later. Okay, so I guess time check, it's 9:42 in the morning and my team is already ready to start our Gender and Development Digital Conference 2020. Sir Luis, andito ka na pala. Sir Luis, pa-register po sa aming link. Pasensya, balikan kita, Sir Luis, ha? Hindi po namin naibigay yung yung paayuda ng CHED sa inyo. Kasi hindi po namin pahanap yung pangalan ninyo doon sa registration form. Hindi po kayo nag-register, sir. Yung link for the registration, Sir Luis, I guess pinost na ata ni Lynette dito sa ating chat box. Kindly click na lang po doon para ma-input nyo yung cellphone number po ninyo. Okay? And of course, hindi po pa rin mawawala yung mga online games natin. Meron pa rin po tayong saktuhan game. Meron din pa rin po tayong ano na pala yung mga games natin? Saktuhan, fill in the box, choose the lucky pot, and also Miss Universe. Okay? Yan po yung mga online games natin. But before that, of course, mag-aral po muna tayo about gender and development. Okay, so I guess we are set, we are ready. So once again, good morning, everyone. My name is Belle Ancheta from the Commission on Higher Education, your moderator, Region 1, your moderator for this activity. So to begin, I would like to invite everyone. Let us first invoke the presence of our Lord Almighty before we formally begin our program. Sir Elvin, let us all pray.
One.
Sir Elvin, yung audio hindi po naririnig, and then pakilakihan po yung ano natin. Thank you, sir.
We ask the Lord to look with kindness upon all of us who are gathered here. Fill our hearts and minds with love, wisdom. We pray for all women and girls who suffer from domestic violence, incest, sexual harassment, prostitution, and other forms of violence. May they have the courage to break their silence, find protection, healing, and justice. We pray for the perpetrators of vow that they may learn to respect women and girls and stop the violence. O loving Father and Mother, send us your Spirit so that everything that we do will be done with love and respect for our fellow humans. Regardless of age, sex, class, ethnicity, and ability, O powerful God, develop in us a high regard for the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of everyone, and bestow on us the capacity to promote, protect, and fulfill the rights of women and girls. Almighty Creator, grant us the strength to stand up against all forms of violence happening to women and girls, the sharpness to recognize a silenced victim of vow, the courage to speak up against vow, the resourcefulness to help a victim of vow, and the resolve to never commit any form of vow. For all of this, we implore your guidance. Amen.
Thank you so much, Elvin. Thank you, PCW, for that prayer. Um, Elvin, are we also live in our Facebook and in our YouTube channel? Yes, we are also live in our Facebook and in our YouTube channel. So for those participants who wants to join us to this two-day Gender and Development Digital Conference 2020, of course, you can visit our FB page, that is CHED Region 1, and also our YouTube channel, that is CHED Regional Office 1. Okay? So to introduce our first speaker and to discuss the affirmative language and genderizing the curriculum, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the virtual room our OIC Chief Education Program Specialist, Engineer Angelica Dolores. Ma'am?
Okay, good morning. Nadidinig, clear ba?
Yes, ma'am, pero hindi po namin kayo nakikita po.
Ayan, kita na?
Ma'am, ang
Okay.
puti-puti nyo.
Natural na kulay. Talaga? Oo nga, ano. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Our first speaker is fondly called Lola Carol to her closest friend. But she doesn't look like
Ma'am
one.
Angie,
Yes.
wait. Lola H will be in the afternoon.
Okay.
Our first speaker will be Dr. Carol po.
Si Dr. Carol. Okay. So, our first speaker is Dr. Carol Sobrichea, Caroline Sobrichea. He is known to be one of the godmothers of women's empowerment movement. She is a professional lecturer of Philippine Studies and the past dean of the Asian Center at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She served as the director of the University of the Philippines Center for Women's Studies from 2000 to 2007, as well as its deputy director for training and extension service from 1991 to 1999. She has helped organize training programs and conferences on various topics about women and gender relations, like mainstreaming gender equality principles into educational programs, domestic violence, reproductive rights, migration, mobility, change, as the past of studies of Subbridge helped establish the women and gender studies programs of various universities in the Philippines and in some Asian countries. Dr. Sobrichea authored and edited several books, journal articles, policy papers, and advocacy materials on women. The Beijing +5 meetings in Bangkok and New York in 2000, in the Decade Review of the Beijing Political Declaration and Platform for Action in 2005, also in New York. She participated in the meetings of the UN Committee on the Status of Women in 2006, 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011, where she presented some papers on the status of women in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our first speaker for the day, Dr. Caroline I. Sobrichea.
Good morning to all of us. Magandang umaga na imbangal daw kada kayo amin, Ilocano. Ang mga ninuno ko galing sa Pangasinan pero hindi ako tinuruan ng mga lolo kong magpanggalatok. I remember my great-grandfather was a mayor of Urdaneta during this, I think, American colonial period. So I visit a street there to recall the memories of my ninunos. Magandang araw sa ating lahat, and I really welcome you to the 16th day celebration on Bausi at saka yung Bonifacio Day. In fact, dapat meron din tayong program sa schools ngayon to celebrate the Bonifacio Day, no? Sige, so may I request, to me, I am very grateful to Vince Hermoso, who will flash my presentation. So I can go over. I'm given 1 hour maybe, and then we can have 30 minutes of question and answer. So Vince is a member of the Center for Women's Studies in UP. And ang bait-bait ni Vince kasi siya ang gumagabay kay Lola Carol, no? Lola ang tawag na nila sa akin sa UP. But I'm coming in now both as a gender person I'm the chairperson at the moment of the Commission on Technical Panel, no, on Women's and Gender Studies. So I apologize kung medyo repetitious yung lectures ko, yung laman ng lecture ko, because I just heard from kanina sa introduction na meron pala kayong mga very specific topics na i-discuss, and we have the experts, the officers here of CHED, and I know that you're more familiar with some of the things I'm going to talk about. What I plan to do is just to go over, the important narratives, the important policies and programs that frame the manner by which we have to carry out our functions as educators, as people in the academic sector, in terms of promoting gender equality and human rights of women. So Vince, shall we start with my presentation? I start right away with international human rights norms, primarily because we have foreign students in the Philippines, and because also we send our students, professors, researchers to other schools. I think you know the history why we have global or international laws and agreements, because of migration, because of exchanges, and because of the desire of the world community to have common norms, common standards, common norms around which we deal with particularly with human rights issues. The international document that governs the protection of women is what we call the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which was adopted in 1979. Baka some of you hindi pa kayo matagal na ito, by the UN General Assembly. It is the human rights, and just to tell you how we managed to get this after the Second World War is a long story. I have written some articles around this, and my friends and other scholars have done it. And it will be a very nice material to share with your students. Well, CEDAW is the International Bill of Rights for Women that defines what constitutes discrimination. So we have an international shared global definition of discrimination. But because of the nuancing of our specific laws, we try to calibrate this and make it harmonious, with existing laws. The CEDAW sets up the agenda for to guide governments, okay? Guide governments, and we are an agency of government in dealing with all forms of gender-based discrimination. One of the commitments when we signed this in 1979, the Philippines is lauded. This is considered one of the very country that has been very active in pushing for human rights of women in the UN and in Geneva, where we have the human rights mechanism. So we go to New York to come out with a common agenda in terms of development plan, the SDG, alam niyo yon, no? Sustainable Development. And we go to Geneva for the human rights, no? To monitor, because we are monitored by government, by the countries that signatory to CEDAW, whether we are compliant, no, with our commitments to this international law. So we commit to pass enabling laws, policies, programs, and services. And I'm proud to say that the Philippines has done pretty well. Although in the last Geneva meeting, there were many questions about our capability to protect women. Tinanong tayo about what is happening to Senator De Lima. Ang daming tinanong, no? And up to now, hindi ko alam paano sinasagot ng gobyerno. Next, please. Article 10 of CEDAW calls on state parties to take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination against women in order to ensure them equal rights with men in the field of education. So the goal is equality, no? So equal rights with men, no, in the field of education. It specifically provides for the gender equality measures to eliminate any stereotype concepts of the role of men and women at all levels and in all forms of education, to reduce female student dropout rates and enhance female access to educational information. When the United Nations, of course, was established after the Second World War, there was so much really inequality, and women, I'm proud to say that many of these problems have been solved now. And we have done quite a lot in terms of improving female status in the field of education. Okay, next please, Vince. Okay, since the CEDAW mandated us, required us to come out with enabling laws, we came out that is human rights based, okay? Human rights, the language of human rights. We have so many laws in the Philippines. We are not wanting in terms of laws, no? In fact, the problem is we have conflicting laws because our Congress is, maybe our legislators do not look into all the laws, and they keep on crafting and crafting without looking at the previous laws and the conflicts these new laws would have with existing laws. So when we signed the CEDAW, we had to come out with a law that is human rights based. It took us quite some time to pass the law, but now we have the Magna Carta of Women, RA 9710. Okay. Now the state affirms, it is in this law where we come out with a very strong statement that says the state affirms the role of women in nation building and ensures substantive equality of women and men. Substantive equality, maybe our lawyers maybe can just help clarify this. There is such a thing as de facto equality and substantive equality, no? It shall promote empowerment of women and pursue equal opportunities for women and men and ensure equal access to resources and to development results and outcomes. So what is critical here really is the outcomes or the results, okay? So when we do gender sensitivity training, when we come out with programs and services, ang problema natin sa gobyerno, lalo na pag nagsasubmit tayo ng mga GAD reports, masyado tayong input-based, no? Ilan ang nag-attend ng training, ilan ang nagpunta, pero ang hinihingi sa atin is after attending training,
palitan na.
I can hear sound. Okay. What were the outcomes or results of all the activities we carried out? So I strongly encourage you to have a monitoring, very strong monitoring and evaluation mechanism so that all our GAD initiatives do not go to waste. Okay, next please. Okay. Ito yung tinatawag nating mga legal, no? Kasi I strongly argue that many of our GAD programs should be, our GAD budget should be used in terms of implementing the laws. Kasi at least may protection tayo, mga teachers, students, no, educators, no. When we come up with programs and services that are defined by law, then we are also protected. Dati kasi walang batas, so we just come out with plans, ganyan, and minsan napapahamak din ang mga implementers. Okay, under this legal framework to promote gender fair education, the state realizes that equality of men and women entails the abolition of unequal structures and practices that perpetuate discrimination and inequality. So we are monitoring. CHED is in charge of that. CHED must monitor all our schools, no, the different programs of the school, whether all of these practices, policies are still discriminatory. So they submit the GAD plan, then the outcomes and the reports, no? And based on that, CHED should monitor whether these are really being done well. To realize this, the state shall endeavor to develop plans. So ito yung mga mechanisms, policies, programs, measures, and mechanisms to address discrimination and inequality in the economic, political, social, and cultural life of women and men. We have not yet passed the anti-discrimination law. Well, there is a law pending now, and we are participating in it. So perhaps CHED should take really an active role in it. We have an anti-discrimination law now that is being discussed in Congress. Next, please. Okay, the state, and we represent the state, CHED, affirms women's rights as human rights. This is a very strong language, human rights. It shall intensify its efforts to fulfill its duties under international and domestic law. So I mentioned the importance of international laws. Recognize respect. So these are critical language. Words: respect, protect, fulfill, and promote all human rights and fundamental freedoms of women, especially marginalized women in the economic, social, political, cultural, and other fields. So while we are promoting gender equality, substantive equality also mandates us or encourages us to give special attention to sectors of our society, poor women, communities that are discriminated because of religion, because of their cultural beliefs and practices, no? So we give a special attention to them so that we can address their very specific context-based, culture-based, religion-based experiences of discrimination. So let me move to the next. What does respect mean? Okay, ito po ang obligations natin. Avoid measures that hinder or prevent the right to education. When you say human rights, by being a human person, by being a member of the Homo sapiens sapiens species, anthropologist ako, you are already entitled to this right. Yun ang sabi ng human rights language. So, sometimes I know some ideas, some actions are not acceptable to you because it violates your religious practice or it is against your culture. Kung teacher tayo, kung educators tayo, na the least you can do is to respect. Igalang mo na lang yung pinanggagalingan, yung konteksto ng kasama mo o estudyante mo. Okay? Pero if you believe or you share the norms and the values, no, then beyond that, we are expected to protect, to avoid, to help, no, prevent others from interfering with the safety, security of our students and other members of the educational institution. So meron kang action na gagawin, hindi lang respect, hindi lang yung passive, no? But more behavioral, verbal, no? Action to prevent others from interfering with the right to education of individuals. And then, of course, a higher level of commitment is fulfilled. If you truly believe that there are very serious issues that impede the access of individuals, particularly poor women, girls, no, women who belong to social, cultural communities that impede their access to education, then we can come up with positive measures, no? Ito yung kaya may God plan tayo, kaya may CHED God policy tayo, CMO1 tayo, so that we can push and ensure that everyone who enters our institution are able to finish and are able to carry on their dreams of becoming an active citizen of our country. Okay, so please remember the 3 levels of obligation. Next, please.
The level of application.
Yes. Do you have any question? You're free to intervene if you want to. Okay, or maybe after the question and answer, kindly write down your comments later. I welcome all the comments or questions. Okay. Under the Magna Carta of Women Law, RA 9710, we are mandated, we are required to eliminate gender-based discrimination in all fields, no? Sa educational policies natin, no? Tapos sa scholarship program natin, tapos sa mga training activities natin. So lahat ng, in fact, even yung physical space, no? We make sure, lalo na ngayon sa pandemic, we make sure that no harm is done to our students and other members of our schools. Okay, so that is Section 13 of the Magna Carta of Women. Next, please. Okay, ito po ang obligations of school administrators, faculty, and personnel. CHED is mandated to call the attention of our administrators if we are remiss, no, in performing some of our obligations. Well, we in UP, we are also very strict about this because it's so embarrassing and it's not good, no? That gender issues or some gender-based discriminatory practices happen in a school, no? So for administrators, for us faculty and personnel, we should ensure that gender stereotypes and images and educational materials and curricula are adequately and appropriately revised. The Safe Spaces Act is a very serious challenge to us now because of social media, no? And how to monitor, how to get it out of the reach of our students. There are many challenges now, and but we have to deal with it primarily because we are part of CHED, no? At saka yung mga partners natin sa community ng mga schools, no? Yung mga local government agencies, tsaka yung ating mga organizations, no? Na kasama na tumutulong, no, sa ginagawa natin sa CHED. We are mandated, we are required to use gender-sensitive language or affirmative language at all times. There is a mechanism to do this. Tine-check natin ang curricular syllabus, tine-check natin ang curricular programs, and for research, we request the National Research Council, all the research associations, no, katulad ng Association of Sociologists, the Association of Anthropologists, kanya-kanya tayong pagbisita, no, sa ating curricular programs, sa ating syllabi, para makita na matanggal, no, itong mga gender-sensitive language. Tsaka mga visual, no, mga visual, photos, mga ganyan, na kailangan lahat yan gender-sensitive. We are also mandated to carry out capacity building activities on God. Ito yung ginagawa natin ngayon. Peace and human rights. Education for teachers, dapat regular siya, lalo na yung mga incoming teachers, dapat may gender sensitivity training, and all those involved in the educational sector. We don't have problems so much with government schools, no? Dahil we have the God budget. We have to help our schools na privately owned. I just read that so many private schools nag-close down na. And one of the earliest Catholic school will close down 2 years from now because it can no longer afford to operate, no? So, ang request sana, some government schools, LGU sana, kung may maliliit na private school dyan, magtulungan na lang tayo, no? There's from some of the reports I'm getting now, talagang the schools, especially in the provinces, no, talagang challenge sila ngayon dahil walang nagbabayad ng tuition fee. They're so dependent on the tuition fee of their students. Wala silang support na kinukuha sa government na katulad natin ng mga nasa government schools, no? Partnerships between and among players. Ito po ang pinire-request natin, no? Of the education sector, including the private sector, ang simbahan, no, ay ini-encourage natin. Ako'y natutuwa, I'm so glad na meron tayong LGU partners dito na talagang kailangan natin ang tulong nila para mapagbuti ang performance ng mga eskwela. Ang tulong nila, lalo nating kakailanganin, pag binasa nyo, pag-aaralan natin ngayon, yung Safe Spaces Act, no? Okay, so I'm so glad that there will be someone who will be talking about the Safe Spaces Act tomorrow, I think. But meron kayong very specific na lecturer on this topic. Okay, next please. Okay, under the Magna Carta of Women, enrollment of women in non-traditional skills training in vocational and tertiary levels shall also be encouraged. When this law was passed, there was a very long period of research that was done, no? Ang bago gumagawa kasi ng batas, merong nire-request, no, na mga data, and we were also involved, no, in generating the data on gender role stereotyping in various fields of education. So maraming mga disciplines na male-dominated, and the way the curricular program has been developed is talagang they really try to attract males. Yung iba naman, they try to attract females. One good example is education. For the longest time, education was considered a female domain, lalo na sa elementary. So there were very few females who were teaching in elementary, males rather, who were teaching sa grade 1, grade 2. So yung mga role models, males were not present in this field, no? And of course, in the military, there's a lot. Home economics was basically a female, ganyan. So nakita natin na may marginalization because of sex role stereotyping. One of the advocacy, of course, for the longest time was in the field of law enforcement. Doon marami rin akong tinulong kasi mga police officers, PNP noon, was heavily male-dominated. And we found out from the study that pag may mga female law enforcers at sila yung tumapat sa mga nag-aaway sa kalye, yung mukha lang ng mga babae, medyo hindi na nagbabarilan yung mga tao. So may mga skills, no? So to make sure that all these occupations do not carry out all this male-dominated or female-dominated presence, we start in the schools. So yung school natin, we already encourage, no, both enrollment of women in heavily male-dominated fields of education. expulsion and non-readmission of women faculty due to pregnancy outside of marriage shall be outlawed. For the longest time, we had many cases when the research was done. In some schools, pag nagbubuntis ang mga bata, lalo na adolescent pregnancy, ini-encourage yung magulang ng mga bata na mag-drop out o mag-leave muna yung mga estudyante. So nagdo-double whammy siya kasi instead of the girl being helped to finish school right away so that she can find a job and take care of her child, lalo na kung pregnancy out of marriage, nagdo-double discrimination. Pag nanganak na, mataas ang incidence ng adolescent pregnancy natin at saka yung out of marriage pregnancy, no? So, sa Magna Carta, in-outlaw natin ito. So, kung may mga eskwela na nakita mong hindi inadmit ang isang babae, faculty man siya o estudyante, no, dahil sa pregnant siya, pwede siyang makasuhan under this law. No school shall turn out or refuse admission to a female student solely on account of her having contracted pregnancy out of marriage during her term in school. So there is still a very common practice to ask for the marriage certificate, which is really necessary then because yun yung legal identity mo. But if in the application form nakalagay single tapos with a child, then automatically hindi na tinatanggap daw according to some studies ng some schools, no? So now the Magna Carta says that is not legal anymore because it's a kind of discrimination. The law also calls on the different agencies of the state to develop, establish, and strengthen programs for the participation of women and girl children in competitive and non-competitive sports as a means to achieve excellence, promote physical and social well-being. The field of sports, of course, has been sex stereotyped also. So merong mga sports activities na pambabae, may mga sports activities na panglalaki. For as long as hindi siya dulot no ng physical harm, we really encourage the doing away of stereotyping no in the field of sports. So yung basketball, no, yung mga football, all other kinds of activities, sports activities, especially the sports where we excel, not only here but around the world. No, ang bida rin ng Philippines, no, in some sports, we encourage that gender role stereotyping be done away with. So this is under also the Magna Carta of Women. Next, please. Okay, I'm very glad that you are having very specific training on anti-VAUSI and the Safe Spaces Act. But as CHED, members of the CHED community, there are so many laws that we should be aware of and should guide us no, in protecting our students. Of course, we have the anti-sexual harassment policy of CHED, no? Enabling yung IRR natin, no? So, which is very important in our field of work. So, anti-sexual harassment law of 1995. Yung General Appropriations Act, I think you know that. It is the GAD budgeting. Ang hindi masyadong familiar ang mga educators ay yung Solo Parent Welfare Act. And this is very important so that matulungan natin yung mga solo parent ng mga estudyante at saka mga employees natin. If you track down the statistics, you can go to the website of the National Statistical Philippine Statistical Association. That's where we get robust data coming from government. And of course, the website of the Philippine Commission on Women to track down the data around solo parent, you would see that ang taas ng tumataas masyado yung incidence of married couples who are separated, and you end up having so many solo parents, and most of them are female. So children are generally left to be taken care of by the mothers, no? And of course, yung mga lolo at saka mga lola. So yung passing on some of the responsibilities to the grandparents, and in some of the studies that we have done, no, sa mga kapitbahay, kung hindi nagtatrabaho din yung single mom or yung separated mom. We strongly encourage schools to look into the anti-trafficking in person law, because sex and labor trafficking is a very serious problem in our country. We have done some monitoring on this, and of course, LGUs, kayong mga LGUs, sana, kasi minsan yung mga magulang mismo ang nagmamarket, nilalabas yung mga anak nilang babae para kumita lang, tapos sa prostitution. Marami na tayong na-raid ng mga prostitution dens, no? But this is a violation of human rights. Kakasuhan ng mga magulang, no? Nakikiusap tayo sa mga LGUs talaga, kasi sila yung malapit sa mga bahay ng mga estudyante natin, ng mga teachers, no? Na talagang to do everything to avoid labor and child trafficking. The worst cases of labor trafficking, yung isasakay sa bus, yung mga bata, tapos dadalhin sa isang factory, tapos magtatrabaho sila ng mga ilang araw, mga ganun. Tapos hindi na sila nakakatapos mag-aral. Okay, then we have the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act and the amendments. Marami ng amendments ito since 2004, no? And I heard that this will be the focus of your lecture tomorrow, I think. And then the expanded maternity leave law of 105 days of paid leave, additional 15 days to a single mom. So if you're a single mom, you give additional 7 days transferable to the father. So the law also says that perhaps it's also a nice experience for the father, no, to have to try in taking care of a newly born child, no. So if the mother wishes to transfer 7 days to a working father, then that can be done. We encourage the fathers also to share the experience of having to take care of their infant, so that the emotional bonds can be developed early in life. We have administrative issuances on flexible working hours, maternity and paternity leave benefits, social protection measures for employees, especially women, with work-related safety and security concerns, and the use of non-sexist language. What is said here is, so meron tayong general na batas, tapos online agencies, LGUs, are mandated to come out with their IRR, implementing rules and guidelines. And depende kung mayaman yung LGU, kung may kaya yung government agency, malaki yung savings nila, ganyan, you can be more generous, no? So there is a lot of generosity that can come out depending on the capacity of specific agencies. Pwede nyong ilagay sa IRR nyo, no? Tapos parang sabi sa batas, the IRR can be a little bit stricter, mga ganyan. Basta't wag lower ang standards based on the enabling laws. So I have seen some, kasi lagi kaming naiimbita to do some gender training, and I have seen how these IRRs have been translated in different provinces, regions, as well as in different schools across the country. Okay, so next please. Ito yung mga iba pang batas na talagang kailangan nating i-implement. Wala pa tayong mga IRR dito. Anti-Cybercrime Prevention Act. Pupunta na ito sa anti-safe spaces. I think they will try to integrate some of this in the safe spaces. the Anti-Photo Voyeurism Act, the Anti-Child Pornography Act, the E-Commerce Act of 2000, Access Devices Regulation Act, which is very, very early. We were one of the countries that came out with this. Ang problema yung IRR at saka yung implementation ng mga different agencies hindi na buo at saka yung anti-wiretapping law. Pati tayo sa CHED, wala pa tayong mga IRR. Siguro we can look at how we can just integrate all of this, no, in a more generic, no, way. We just had the session on the Safe Spaces Act the other day. We asked the comments of the technical panel on women's studies, and I'm finalizing the report, which I'm going to submit to CHED maybe tomorrow or a day from now. So I request CHED to please take on the initiative to make sure that some of these enabling laws are integrated in our IRR and in our policy, no, mga policy statements natin. Next, please. Okay, ito yung RA, an act defining gender-based sexual harassment in street safe spaces act, no? Online workplace and educational and training institutions, providing protective measures and prescribing penalties therefore. I understand there is someone who will discuss this, no? Pero yung sexist siya, offensive siya, pag nagka-catcall kayo, catcalling, wolf whistling, cursing, yung mga verbal ways, no, na very sexist and very, sabi nila nakaka-impair daw, no, it's biased, it's pwedeng some are really offensive, no? They are offensive. Intrusive gazing, transphobic, homophobic, and sexist slurs. Ang request ko tayong mga teachers, mga schools, is to document this, no? Kasi nag-Ilocano tayo, nagtatagalog tayo, tapos may English pa. Ano ba yung mga sexist slurs in Ilocano, Pangasinan, tapos na nakakabastos, na o-offend ang mga estudyante, ang mga teachers, and it impairs, no? Ang bottom line is it hampers, no, the quality of their life. And it bothers them, it creates problems for them, maybe prevents them, no, from doing their work in school. So yung outcomes, negative siya. Gender-based online sexual harassment, we need a lot of documentation on this to put some teeth to the law. And as a line agency and all the government agencies, we are mandated to document this para tingnan natin kung ano yung later on, once the law is reviewed again, we have some data, evidence to show or argue on how to strengthen or the law or how to remove some of its provisions. Okay, ito yung gender-based sexual harassment in public utility vehicles. No, this is already outside the campuses, no? But according to the law, may obligasyon pa din daw tayong mga nasa schools. So yung nasa labas ng bakod ng schools natin, kaya nga kailangan ng partnership with the LGUs. If you don't mind my sharing my experience, no, that's why the UP Diliman campus has a very strong partnership with the barangays, no. Kasi you can only take care of your students inside the classroom. Pag naka-tricycle na sila o naglalakad na sila palabas sa campus, harm can be done to them. So yung mga LGUs talagang pinakikiusapan natin na tumulong at sa pagbantay ng mga estudyante, mga teachers, mga minors, mga babae na naglalakad sa kalye. Sa loob ng campus, meron tayong mga security guard paglabas nila sa gate ng mga campuses. Okay, gender-based sexual harassment in streets, public spaces committed by minors. Ito, siguro tanungin na lang ninyo sa magle-lecture sa inyo kung ano ang provisions nitong pag ang sexual harassment ay ginawa ng mga minors. So next please. Okay, ito siguro i-review ko na lang kasi CHED naman kayo lahat at balita ko meron ng magle-lecture, no? Sa CHEDS, yung enabling law natin, yung CMO natin, no? CMO 1, nabanggit na some of you, I think this was discussed or this will be discussed separately, no? So we have policies and guidelines on GAD, no? Now which is being implemented by HEIs, no? So this is to institutionalize gender equality and gender responsiveness and sensitivity in various aspects of higher education in the areas of curriculum development, research, extension, programs, projects and services, no? Training and academic orientation programs for officials, faculty, and personnel. So you're familiar with this, so we can move on. Next, please. Okay, some of the gender issues in education, this is heavily documented. Now, these issues have empirical data to support it. As I mentioned, you can go to our sites, Statistical Association, Philippine Commission on Women, ano pa yung mga mandated natin, no? There are many open sites ngayon where you can get some of the data, no? Rape, sexual harassment, and other forms of sexual abuse. I'm reading some of the reports now, tumaas talaga ang incidence ng violence against women ngayong pandemic. Lalo na yung bugbugan sa loob ng bahay, no? In some of the trainings that we have done for some LGUs, talagang yung pag-close down ng community has really created serious gender issues at home. There's verbal and physical abuse, both within the classroom, outside the classroom, and at home. Students engage in unsafe and risky sexual practices, increasing incidence of sexually transmitted infections and HIV infections among young people. It's sad to say that the Philippines is considered one country that has very high incidence of HIV infection. You can maybe track down some of the studies that I helped conduct in the Philippines because of the very high rate of HIV infection in the country. Because very conservative yung government natin noon. It's only now na talagang openly pinopropagate natin ang pag-use ng contraceptives. We had political leaders, because of their religious belief, na hindi inalaw ang pag-distribute ng contraceptives at saka sexual education sa mga schools noon. Now, we call it now sexuality education. It's not just using contraceptives or family planning, but managing your emotions and feelings, when to be attracted, when not to be attracted, mga ganyan. So sexuality is a heavier concept than sex education. Sex is more physical, no? But anyway, we have one of the highest incidents of HIV infection in the country. And dun sa latest statistics, it is increasing among the young people, which is really very dangerous. And because if you have had, it's a lifetime disability if you have HIV infection and STIs also, although nagagamot yan, it really impairs the quality of learning of our students. As I mentioned, unwanted and early pregnancy. We also are considered one country. When we went to Geneva, it was so embarrassing that the international global community, the other countries, asked us why we have such a very high incidence of unwanted and early pregnancy in the country. What are schools doing? What are government LGUs doing? No? And this happened among the poorest of the poor. So sa mga term papers, halimbawa ng mga estudyante ko, dinodocument nila yung buhay ng isang 20 years old na nanay na meron ng 3 anak. Pinapakain niya, wala siyang trabaho, mga ganyan. Yung patong-patong na problema na nararanasan natin, no? Ang taas ng incidence ng mga families na nasa poverty level, lalo na ngayong last 3 years, lalo na this year, no? So ang affirmative action sana natin ay tulungan natin yung mga mahihirap na mga pamilya, and the prevention measure may be sexuality education, isama natin sa ating mga advocacy training, mga ganyan. Pinipilit natin huliin lahat ang mga institutions na illegal ang prostitution talaga dito, no? Pero meron pa rin daw mga backdoor prostitution dens. And some of those who sell their bodies are students themselves, females mainly. Pero meron na rin daw mga boys who go into male prostitution. And of course, ang kanilang clients are also sometimes male, no? So sex and labor trafficking, which I already mentioned, all the statistics, all the studies are available. You may download them, you may read them in government online sources. The UN also, the UN has a very rich body of literature, and the UN and Geneva also. So ang maganda ngayon is online sources, pwede nyo nang kunin to add to whatever activity you are carrying out. So next, please. Okay, I'm almost done, so we can have some discussions and you can eat. I know you may be hungry, but I would like a very active engagement with you after this. Just to give you some statistics, no? Medyo 2011 pa yung na-download ko dun sa source, no? But I think the proportion relatively is the same. Tingnan nyo ang gender issue sa kababaihan at sa kalalakihan. Mas madaming babae na ang nakakatapos ng elementary education compared sa lalaki. So it is the boys now whom we are missing, who are lagging behind. We need to understand why. Of course, we have reasons. Because of gender role stereotyping, the boys are required to go to the field, magsaka, magharvest, ganon. But this is a serious gender issue. So maybe let's look at what is happening also to our boys. What can we do to keep them in schools? I know it's associated with mga peace and order situation. They are recruited to become soldiers ng mga rebel groups, mga ganyan. This happens in some regions, especially in Mindanao. I don't know sa region 1. Ano ang mga factors that hinder your boys from completing their education, secondary and primary, and from staying in schools? Look at the dropout rates. Mas mababa ang dropout rate, 5%, pero statistically significant din yan, no? Pag in terms of numbers na mas nagpo-continue talaga yung mga babae compared sa mga lalaki. So this means that 5 in every 100 girls or 7 in every 100 boys failed to finish their school in 2010-2011. I got the data 2019 sa website. So ito yung pinaka-recent. Siguro tinitingnan ko kagabi, wala pa kasi siguro wala pang mga bumabalik sa mga opisina nila na mga employees, so hindi pa natin na-update yung mga statistics. So next please. Itong yung high mortality rate, ito yung talagang advocacy ko sana na not a mother who should not die because of giving birth. 221 mothers died during pregnancy and childbirth or shortly after childbirth, compared to 162 deaths per 100,000 live births in 2006. So nung 2006, mas kakaunti yung namamatay ng mga nanay. Nung 2011, tumaas ng 221, which is very statistically, it's disturbing, no? Tapos, 2009, anyway, yun yung 200, 220, 100 ang namamatay, no, sa lahat, sa mga nanay, no, na nagiging pregnant. Ang global standard sana natin, global, no, 53 deaths lang dapat for every 100 live births. Where the goal is wala sanang namamatay, no? Pero based on global mapping, no, ang 53 deaths, no, for every 100,000 births. So napakaraming nanay ang namamatay dahil lang nanganganak sila. Dapat we always say that childbirth is should be one of the happiest moments in a person's life, both for the mother and for the father. But this does happen to some couples or to some families. Next, please. Vince, natutulog ka na? Okay. So ito pa yung teenage pregnancy. Number of live births by teenage mothers, 60%. Rose by sinabi ko na ito, teenage pregnancy ang tumataas. And there was an increase as well of teenage mothers who gave birth to their second, third, fourth, and even fifth children in the last 10 years. So hindi lang siya, yung teenage mothers, hindi lang siya nanganganak once, marami pa siyang mga ibang anak. Can you imagine a teenage mother who has to go to school to finish her studies, tapos kung mahirap pa siya, wala siyang hanap buhay, naghahanap buhay pa siya. The National Youth Commission claims that the Philippines has the third highest pregnancy rate and is the only country in the ASEAN region where rate is increasing. I challenge all of us to help, maybe through gender sensitivity training. Yung mga kasama natin na LGUs, pwede ba tayong tumulong dyan? Magbigay tayo ng sexuality education, no? Tingnan natin yung life skills. Usually yung mga binibigay na training program dito, life skills development, no? Turuan mo silang mangarap, what they want to be 10 years from now, and pursue, no? Make sure na ma-attain nila yung kanilang mga pangarap. Parang pagbibigay pangarap, no, sa mga kabataan, so that whatever temptation or weaknesses, hindi sila masyadong matempt, or pwede nilang pigilin yung sa amin sa sexuality education, ang tawag namin pigilin ang panggigigil, no? Meron kaming mga Tagalog na sexuality education modules, ang paano pigilin ang panggigigil, mga ganyan. Isipin yung kinabukasan. Okay? Kinuha ko siya sa GMA News noong 2020. Okay, next please. Okay, so ang emotional and other forms of non-personal violence are most common types of spousal violence. So, ang malungkot, marami ding gender-based violence sa loob ng bahay, tapos nagkakasakitan din ng mag-asawa. 23% of VAUSI at home ay nangyayari sa mga mag-asawa, no? Spousal violence tends to decline as husband's age increases habang tumatanda si lalaki, at mas mataas ang kanyang education at mas mataas ang social status niya. So I'm just highlighting some of the variables, no? Indicators that account for spousal violence, and this is very much relevant to us because the higher the education of a person is, mas mas less based on statistics, no, inclined to commit physical, sexual, and other forms of violence. It's also our way of saying that it's an indicator that our schools are able to help, no? So we really VAUSI ngayon, VAUSI talagang spousal violence should be integral in all the gender sensitivity trainings that we are giving. I always say that I had the sad experience of bringing to court or filing charges against some employees and faculty members who have committed this type of violence. But now I'm very happy to note na halos wala ng incidents, no? So if ang outcomes nito is talagang mabawasan o mawala, then we have done our work, no, as advocates of gender equality within the campus. Next, please. Okay, some of the gender issues, gender biases in curricular programs, reading materials, and pedagogical practices. So we have to scan all of, we did this the other day, we looked at gender in the curricular, in the syllabus, no? Gender in the curricular programs. Tapos we have to monitor our schools kung meron silang policies, programs, and services. CMO1 is very comprehensive, and the other CMOs of CHED. So we have no problem in terms of policies. What is important is we ensure that schools are able to implement all of this. Lack of monitoring and evaluation mechanisms to track down cases of gender-based abuses. Dapat lahat ng mga schools, no, meron silang facility, may services sila. Kung wala sa school, then may referral system, dapat makitie up sa LGUs, no? We know that, lalo na private schools, they're not capable of coming out with a facility. Counselor, mahal anti-vowsy counselor, mahal din na mag-hire ganyan. So, ang in-encourage natin ng mga schools to tie up with LGUs, kasi karamihan mga LGUs, mga municipal, city, mga ganyan, meron na silang anti-vowsy facility, no? Lack of safety and security measures to eliminate physical, sexual crimes in campus. So yung all schools are required, no, to scan the physical safety, stairs, no? Tapos yung comfort room. We also pilot tested yung gender fair comfort room, kasi in some cases, the females do not want transgenders or gays, lesbians to enter the comfort room, specifically if they look male, no, yung physically male. So parang na ano rin na if we feel insecure, no, which shouldn't happen, no. Kaya one of the recommendations that was given is to come out with a gender neutral or gender fair comfort room. All of these measures can be done, I think, through consultation, para talagang sensitive siya, and it really responds, no, yung mga measures ninyo to the specific demands, no, of your office or your school or whatever facility you are running. Okay, next please. Mental health issues in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. We have just been undertaking, we're about to complete another round of training on building resilience, no, in the context of the pandemic, no, and some of the guidelines. And as I mentioned, I'm trying to monitor now the gender issues coming out of this problem we have. And talagang tumataas talaga ang issues, na hindi lang vowsy, no? Marami ring mental health issues. Depression and suicide and their underlying gender-related causes. So minsan nagsisuicide dahil nagbubugbugan, dahil gutom, yung mga ganyan. Tumaas daw ang incidence of suicide. Of course, I was listening to the TV station, CNN, and the incidence of suicide in US and some countries nalaganap ang pandemic, and Brazil has increased. And then I looked, and then I read one, I searched mental health in the Philippines, and dumalabas, nag-report na yung mga ibang LGUs, no? And they're saying na tumataas din daw ang incidence of suicide. So I think we have to push for, if you want to think of additional capacity building measures, then maybe some kind of training, education, consciousness raising around this issue is very important. Maybe Vince, Vince, you can help them in sharing some of the materials we have. Ang call sa atin ngayon is building resilience and positivity. Positivity to minimize some mental health issues, no? And resulting from the lockdown that we are experiencing now. We hope that the vaccine can come, but sabi nila, most likely regular classes will happen in the following year, in 2022 na. So let's just be ready, let's be prepared. In the meantime, maybe we can respond to some of the mental health issues being experienced by our colleagues, our friends, and people around us. Okay, next please. I'm now about to end. So these are the measures to address gender issues. It's almost repetitious already. Remove all forms of discriminatory practices in teaching. Revise course design, syllabi, reading list to remove all sexist texts. Promote gender-sensitive pedagogical practices. There are ways of teaching that are very sensitive, and there are ways of teaching that are discriminatory and offensive. We can share with you some of the texts that we have, experiences, or resource persons. But Ched also, I think ang dami naman natin sa regions, no, na mga experts na rin dito. Maybe we can share the expertise among the different regions and schools. Institute ethical guidelines and procedures in teaching, research, and extension services. All the laws that I mentioned, no, lalo na yung anti-Bausi law, meron siyang mga guidelines, yung confidentiality, when to share the data, tapos mga flow chart on what to do is very important, no? Yung implementing rules and guidelines is very important. A very good example, for instance, is you find a student who wants to ready to commit suicide, susulatan ka niya, tapos sasabihin niya, ma'am, gusto ko na pong wakasan ang buhay ko kasi hindi ko na matiis ang kahirapan. Oo, nandoon siya sa isang siyudad na so many kilometers away from you. Ano ang gagawin mo? Hindi ba? Yun yung mga yun. O kaya nagtuturo ka tapos isusulat kasi gender ang tinuturuan ko. Ma'am, nagbubugbugan po ang tatay ko at nanay ko dito sa likod habang nag-aaral ako. Ano po ang gagawin ko? So mga how to assist, no, yung extension service, no, paano mo tutulungan, yung teaching, research, academic, no, pero yung pagtulong, no, yung mga GST, gender sensitivity, service counseling program. We encourage all the schools to have counseling program. Pero kung wala kayong mahal, lalo na sa private school, to hire counselors, then just tie up with the hospital, just tie up with LGUs na may mga anti-Bausi facilities. Document and institutionalize good practices. We encourage all schools, we encourage everyone to keep on documenting and that sharing with us good practices so all of us can learn from them. Institute gender-sensitive criteria in hiring and promotion policies. This is very important also to encourage our faculty member to go on, no, and to continue in developing their skills, ganyan, tsaka mga employees, tanggalin natin lahat yung mga gender biases. Pregnant woman should not be penalized, mga ganyan, no? And all this gender-related, no? Factors that might affect yung criteria for hiring or promotion. Okay, next please. We have to strengthen counseling service to include support for students who have experienced physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. I keep repeating this because these are some of the things we have to help. Now we have to go the extra mile in trying to ensure that our students are free from all kinds of abuses within the classroom, outside of the gate of our classes, and in their respective homes. The extra mile is trying to understand whether our students are safe also within their homes. Strengthen medical health service to include student access to health information and services that can empower them to deal with issues like STIs, unwanted pregnancy, early pregnancy. Hindi natin sinasama sa mga gender sensitivity training natin to. So maybe meron na lang kayong online question and answer, online counseling, yung confidential, where a student can throw questions sa kanilang counselor, or hotline, no? Maybe a hotline can be devised, no, so that a student or an employee who needs very immediate attention or who wants to ask questions, no, na nakakahiya namang i-divulge pag may mga training, mga ganyan, can raise those questions. Institutionalize and implement the anti-sexual harassment law. Minomonitor ng PCW yung IRR, kung sino pa ang mga ahensya, sino pa yung mga hindi sumusunod sa paggawa ng IRR for the anti-sexual harassment law. Strengthen campus safety and security policies to prevent rape, sexual assault, and other crimes. So yung campus safety and security policies, dapat may gender sensitivity rin sa mga janitors, sa mga security officers, lahat, no, na nagtatrabaho sa loob ng campus. I think that is the ideal, no? And if we have the resources, then we should do it. Otherwise, makipag-partner tayo sa mga LGUs, mga ganyan, para tumulong yung mga LGUs sa atin. Kasi ang maraming LGUs na meron naman silang capacity to give all of these services. Okay, next please. Okay, so for the use measures to address gender issues, use affirmative language. Yung dalawang ginagamit natin ngayon, use affirmative or non-sexist language in all written and oral and visual text. We have a professor in UP that is very good in coming out with a training on affirmative language, positive, promoting positivity. No, affirmative language is approving of affirmative words that support someone or something. It can be expressed through facial and other body gestures that communicate approval or support of others. So yung expression ng teacher, yung pag-nod niya, yung pag-smile niya, there is a theory that says rather than, kasi minsan discipline ang language ng teaching, don't do this, bakit mo ginawa yan, no? It's a very good narrative and way of advocating change also. If you praise, no, or you reiterate the good things or the right things that your students or your colleagues have done. Affirmative language can be expressed through use of non-sexist and behavioral expressions. So depende sa kultura, depende sa mga we can have all of these very affirmative kinds of behavioral expression. So I think, is there anything else? So I hope I have given things that are important to you at the moment. Vince, where are we now? I promise to spend tamang-tama almost 1 hour so we can open the floor to question and answer and sharing. Vince?
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Carol, for that insights. I hope our GAD advocates, GAD coordinators, and also our school administrators who are present this morning to your lecture were able to grasp something on how they were going to genderize their curriculum and also different functions they have in their respective institutions. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Carol. Okay, so as mentioned, we are now opening the floor for questions to all our participants in the Zoom. We would like also to request our DILG, our local government units who are present in this virtual room to participate also. You can also ask questions po sa ating speaker. Okay, so again, I would like to remind everyone to ask questions. Before you throw your questions, Please identify yourself, the school you are representing, okay, for us to be able to identify you appropriately or address you appropriately. Okay, so who wants to ask the first question to Dr. Carol? Anyone? Si Ma'am Carol. Akala ko si Lola Helen lang yung tinatawag na Lola. Ma'am
Lola.
Carol, Lola ka na rin pala.
Estudyante ko yan si Helen, ano? So
Ganun
ako ang
po
lola
ba?
ng mga lola. Ako ang
Lola
lola,
ng
ng
mga
mga
lola.
lola. Oo.
Oo. Nagulat ako kanina sa intro, Lola Carol ka pala. Akala ko si Lola H lang yung tinatawag na Lola. Okay, so anyone from the group who wants to ask the first question? I guess we have a question here at the chat box, Lola Carol. This is from Northern Christian College from Dr. Louis Agnier Paraan. Some of the things that frustrate me on a daily basis are the careless jokes made at the expense of women, and sometimes even women join in the laughter. For example, jokes that perpetuate the stereotype of wives doing nothing but spend their husband's money when actually money women are the breadwinners, or jokes focusing on body shaming. What's a nice culturally apt way of deflecting and reminding the perpetrators. Sometimes even women do this. Ma'am Carol, what's nice or culturally apt way of deflecting and reminding the perpetrators?
Yun nga ang difficulty ngayon kasi we are such a diverse society. As I'll talk as an anthropologist, no, ang magandang strategy na lang kaysa sa mag-lecture. Of course, mag-GST kayo, nasabihin nyo, hindi maganda yan. Kumuha kayo ng mga champions from among your ranks. Kunyari, meron siyang mga nanay dyan, no, na talagang she can share the narrative of how multiple burden is really difficult for her. Tapos kakausapin niya yung mga ibang nanay din na patay mali siya, no? Sorry, really, patay mali siya. So akin siguro, let's get champions from among their ranks. Tapos isama sa sharing of experiences. Kunyari mag-GST tayo, no? So meron tayong mga norms, dapat hindi ganyan. Pero maganda yung sharing. Nung nag-GST kami over the years, ang maganda talagang policy, no, is kumuha ka ng mga advocates from within the ranks. Sila ang mag-share ng mga narratives. Hindi talaga tama yan, hindi maganda. Tingnan nyo ang nangyari sa akin, tingnan nyo yung nangyari sa kapitbahay ko. So mamumulat, magkakaroon ng mas malawak na kalmulatan yung mga ibang babae na patay mali siya sila. Ang nahihirapan ako ngayon, ano ang bastos na kasuotan? Kasi naka-Maria Clara nga kami noong bata kami, di ba? Lumabas lang yung aming kalahati ng leeg namin, bawal na. I don't know what is offensive to young people. Nakikita ko yung mga babae ngayon na short shorts. Sabi dun sa nagtatanong, nababastusan sila rito. At minsan yung mga babae mismo ang nagsusuot niyan. Siguro mag-consultation meeting, magkumuha ng data from below. And based on that, yan ang gamitin sa GST natin. Anong tingin ninyo? Yun ang tinuthrow ko, pero a reaction from your end is also very worthwhile and sa akin, makabuluhan din sa akin. Sige.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Carol. Dr. Agnier, do you have any follow-up?
Yes, I do.
Yes, go ahead po.
Mel, Dr. Paraan, magagalit sa'yo asawa ko.
Dr. Paraan, yes po.
Okay.
Sorry for calling you Dr. Agnier.
Ma'am Carol, yung yung sinabi niya, yung bastos, a lot of our students na babae, kasi they have this attitude na, my body, my decision, my body, my right. I wear what I want. So, so pag sinasabi ng iba na nababasusan sa suot ng mga bata, sasabihin nila, it's none of your business. So parang it's a vicious circle, no? Because the men say na it's because they dress that way that they become, attracted, and so they use it as an excuse for the offensive actions. Parang umiikot lang ng umiikot. So paano po yun? My body, my right.
Ako ang turuan ninyo. Kayo ang gumawa ng strategy. Yan ang problema ng generation ninyo. Hindi. Pero my body, my right. In a way, maganda siyang narrative kasi nakikita mo yung babae na empowered na siya, di ba? Katawan ko ito. Kaya lang, pag na-rape siya, lalapit din siya sa ating mga teachers, di ba?
Opo.
Ang sabi sa
pareho po tayong generation. I was born in 1961.
Wow! Ayaw niya ng homework.
Ayaw.
Pero I can see that also, no? Minsan, kunyari, kasi nga, lalo na kami sa Diliman na free space, so nakakita ako ganito, in compromise. Okay, some of my personal experiences ganito, we have to meet halfway. So, nung nag-evaluation kami, so may teachers evaluation kami, tiningnan ko ano yung feedback ng mga teachers. May mga teachers na nagsabi, I am disturbed, the quality of my teaching suffers because some of the female students nakaupo na nakabikaka. So the outcome is negative. The outcome is negative because it impairs the quality of teaching. Nagko-consultation meeting kami, tapos sa training, nakikiusap kami sa mga female students. If you don't want the quality male at this stage in our life, these are the values, these are the norms, these are you cannot change people overnight, right? So compromise tayo, let's meet halfway. Sa likod kayo ng classroom. Sa likod muna kayo or you try. Somehow I think, according to our guidance counselor, somehow it worked. Somehow. Of course, now it's not a problem anymore because online learning na nga tayo, no? Pero I think the solution is really some compromise muna. Pero at the end of the day is the outcome, no? The negative impact that it has. So maybe we can talk to some of our empowered girls, no? Empowered girls. Do you have documentation also that since the community is not yet ready, lumabas sila sa Safe Spaces Act, naka-short sila, sumakay sila ng tricycle, tapos hinipuan sila, hinawakan yung legs nila. Siyempre magre-report sila ng anti-sexual harassment. Empowered sila, pero the community is not ready for them. Society is not ready for them. So, ang pakiusap na lang muna natin, yun ang sabi ko, makiusap muna tayo, mag-GST tayo, ibahin natin ang. Pero habang hindi pa nagbabago ang ating lipunan, let's meet halfway. Ayaw naming ma-rape kayo, ayaw naming ma-sexually harass kayo. May mga estudyante ako. So ma'am, dadagdagan ko ng 3 inches yung haba ng shorts ko. Sabi ko, mag-research ka kung madadagdag mo 3 inches, masasolve na yung problem mo. Siyempre, tawanan, ano. Pero I think the solution is really meeting halfway muna until society is ready for us, for your empowered female students. Yes.
Thank you po.
Teacher.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paraan, Dr. Louie. Maraming salamat po for that question and also for answering Dr. Carol. We have another question here from Data Center College Philippines from Mr. Ronnie Romero. Ma'am Carol, what measures and interventions should be done for gay students who insist in practicing cross-dressing, especially wearing bra?
Again, ako wala pa tayong anti-discrimination law, okay? Ngayon siguro hahabol para lang yata makapasa sa Congress yung on the basis of sexual identity and gender identity. Kinokolate na nila yung mga iba at nilalagyan ng other discrimination areas, no? So we just depend on schools, we depend on LGUs to come up with a policy on LGBT protection on the basis of sexual identity and gender identity. Ang tingin ko, no, as an advocate of human rights, karapatan nila. Kaya lang, bakit tinatanong ng teacher? Dahil nadi-disturb ba yung teacher? Nakaka-hamper ba ng education, ng quality of education? Kung merong isang gay na nakabra? In other words, as educators, what is the impact? We can only come up with some restrictive measures if we know that it hampers the quality, the outcome of education. Pero kung hindi naman, ay bakit natin pagbabawalan? Wala tayong batas. Hindi pwedeng sabihin, allow it. Wala pa tayo. So we leave it to schools, we leave it to LGUs na gumawa ng sarili nilang policy. No? So anong tingin ninyo? Yung nagtanong, nakaka-hamper ba o yung teacher ang nababahala? Yung teacher ba nababahala? Hindi makatiis?
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Carol. We have a similar question regarding cross-dressing from Ma'am Jean Matias from Northwestern University in Lawag. Dr. Carol, I guess regarding policy, I guess I would just like to focus dun sa policy na sinabi niya dito regarding cross-dressing. Would the strict imposition of dress code in the student handbook be a violation of a gender right? Ma'am Carol, nakamute po kayo.
Hindi, dahil sa enrollment. Ito, ganito ang contract. Pagpasok sa enrollment, Catholic schools are very strict on that. You will enter our school, but this is our guidelines. No cross-dressing because we are a Christian school. Meron nakikita natin. Pag alam nila na pagpasok pa lang, nandoon na yung mga gabay, then wala tayong kakulangan. Kasi wala tayong pagkukulang. Kasi naka-black and white na before they enrolled. Tama ba ako? Ganon. So mas maigi, I heard this from some Christian schools, from some heavily Muslim, kasi may mga Muslim tradition din sila, na malinawanag naman ma'am pagpasok. So, pero ang ginawa natin sa school ngayon, nung una kasi nagsimula tayo, nakapantalon si boy at naka-skirt si girls, di ba? Para maging mas gender sensitive na tayo, I did this for the PNP, Philippine Police. Binigyan na natin ng pantalon yung mga babae. So, pwede nang magpantalon. So, nagpapantalon na si babae at saka nagpapantalon si lalaki. Ang tanong ninyo, mayroong mga lalaking gustong mag-skirt. Hindi ba? Yun. Kung meron kayong policy kagad about use of school uniform, na ito yung mga pwedeng gamitin, then hindi sila mag-enroll kung hindi ninyo ina-allow na mag-skirt yung mga gays. Pero tanong ko sa mga teachers, nadi-disturb ba kayo kung naka-skirt yung isang estudyante nyo? Sabihin nyo yung kulay or yung height. It depends on your ability to take on, no? It's your consciousness. But ang general na sagot ko sa inyo is lay down your policies very clearly before enrollment, before accepting the student. And wala na kayong accountability, no? We don't encourage muna at the moment, pero you have to justify, no? So maraming schools ngayon wear the school uniform. Girls can wear both pants and skirts. Some schools only girls. Pero wala na yatang school ngayon na hindi na-allow na rin mag-pants ang mga girls, no? Am I able to share some answers na which can help you?
Yes, of course, Ma'am Carol. Okay. We agree on that point that if we do have a policy, a school policy regarding cross-dressing or policy on the wearing of uniforms, of course, that should be clear to the students before they will going to enroll. Okay, tama po yun that once a particular student enrolled to a particular institution, that means that they already accepted the school policies imposed by the school administrators. Thank you so much, Ma'am Carol. Okay. So, nagpapasalamat din po, Ma'am Carol, si Ma'am Natalisa Lapitan from Mariana Marcos State University. Hi, Ma'am Nats. Buhay ka na pala. Welcome back. Okay, and also from Jing Matias from Northwestern University, Lawag. Thank you very much daw po, Ma'am Carol. Okay, any more questions from our participants in the Zoom?
Kaya't ko Agilocano kayo. Pangasinan, nakakaintindi ako ng Pangasinan. Hindi lang ako nakakasal. Mga ninuno ko, dyan ako lumaki, dyan kami pinanganak.
Okay, for those participants, yung mga participants po natin from Pangasinan, baka may gusto po kayong tanungin kay Ma'am Carol. Pwede daw po kayong magpangasinan.
Para matest ako.
Sige na po, clarifications, issues that you would like to ask to Ma'am Carol regarding your issues, regarding gender issues. Hello, Sir Ferdinand Nicolas. Hello po.
Good morning po.
Good
Nay
morning.
magabigat, kada kayo amin na po. I'm
Ay,
sorry, I grew up in Quezon City, so I cannot the request of Ma'am Carol. But going back to the issue raised by Dr. Paraan, it's really a cultural, it's a cultural battle between the right to express oneself, including the way how one person dresses, and I guess the standards imposed by society and how we get along with one another, how we can, coexist in the same space with those different values. So I do understand na yes, especially for students, we want them to be more assertive, to express their own opinions. But in the same way, yes, on the other hand, we also need to impose particular values. Of course, this is a higher education forum, so parang iba na, no? I mean, our objectives may be a little different from educational institutions, na basic educational institutions where value formation is maybe more relevant. Pero ang nakikita talaga namin na nagiging problema, the lack of valuing one's physicality or the body. In an age na, yun na nga, we are in distance education. So everything is much more digital. And I guess, I don't know, maybe, eto kasi parang nababalitaan na rin in educational circles, the sharing of photos and videos, particularly by girls, revealing themselves, and it becomes an issue because it becomes spread. It's digital. It can be spread so easily like wildfire. So parang ang hirap ring. I mean, it's a huge issue as an educator, as a person charged with that responsibility of safeguarding the interests of students. Parang ang sakit rin sa sa puso na parang, my gosh, you're not valuing your personhood, so I'm wondering now, as a higher education institution, parang how much of a role can we play in combating that kind of behavior? Of course, there is the child pornography law, there's cybercrime, but its enforcement is really, really difficult. So I'm wondering now if there is some sort of drive or move to create it's all about dignity. Whatever your gender identity is, it's all about dignity and self-respect. And unfortunately, it's a battle against culture, against media, the values of media. So of course, kami non-sectarian, so medyo mas mahirap mag-enforce ng some sort of, but still, as a private higher education institution, we can impose a particular set of values that we feel would equip people better in the professional world, or in the vocation, or in the profession that they choose to set out for themselves. So it's really a cultural battle, and I'm hoping for more equipping, I guess, because I think we all want what's best for all our students, and whatever persuasion they may have in different aspects of their lives. So yun lang po. I don't know if it's a question or it's a comment. I don't know.
Yes, you really raised a very serious problem now, kasi the younger generation has changed, and then the platform for communication has also changed a lot. And ako, as a senior professor, as a senior teacher, well, I try very hard to go into social media now. Ang dami ng mga spaces, no? Pero ang educational institution tayo, so the work should start with us. Talagang we have to assert yung mga values and norms, no? I want to believe na yung mga gender sensitivity training natin, na-infuse natin yung harm that can be done to them, no? Yung one very good example, well, our government is trying its best to regulate also the social media. Facebook for itself, hindi ba si Zuckerberg, talagang pinapatanggal na niya yung mga pag nagtutroll. There was one example that I remember that involved an academic institution is when a couple, no, I think the boyfriend, I think, wanted to extract money from umiwalay na sa kanya na girlfriend niya, and he threatened that if the woman would not give so much, ikakalat niya sa website. And he did it nga, kinalat sa website. So hinabol, pero binigyan namin ng lawyer, tinulungan namin kumuha kami ng lawyer, tinulungan siya, nahabol, natanggal kagad. So from the media from the media industry, meron namang self-regulate na ngayon. Pag maraming trolls, hindi ba? Pag paulit-ulit na pinupost yung mga litrato, ganun, pinapatay na nila, tinatanggal na nila. Pero ang challenge sa atin sa school, paano na tayo makakatulong? Nagtutulungan naman na tayo. Pagkatapos, yun, yung mga, ang sabi mo, yung mga bata mismo, na sila na mismo yung nagpo-post, ano bang values pwedeng gamitin against them mag-post sila ng mga ganyan, tapos kukunin, ikakalat, yung mga ganun. Yung telling them siguro about the risk also, kung masyado silang empowered and they show this and that, and then makakopy, maisi-circulate, ikakalat. Ikaw rin ang sasagot sa question mo, kuya. Pero yun lang nakikita ko. At our end, we have to educate them to protect themselves. Tapos, and to raise the issue of harm, the harm. Kasi ganito, lagi kong sinasabi, sige, you're so empowered, you want to behave this way. Pag may nangyari kayo sa inyo, babalik din naman kayo sa gobyerno, hihingi kayo ng tulong, magpa-file tayo ng case sa courts, yung mga ganon. Why don't you just self-empower yourself muna, protect yourself, and compromise muna? The world is not ready for the kind of privileges that you want to enjoy. The harm can happen to you. So mag-compromise muna tayo. Let's prepare the community. Let's prepare the work to be ready to kind of packaging ninyo, kung anong packaging na ginagawa ninyo. So sa akin, it's always compromise. Pero you're right. What values? Values of self-protection. What is the notion of self-respect? Paano mo sasabing nirerespeto ako ng kapwa ko, nirerespeto ako? Alam mo, siguro gawa tayo ng isang project para values, no? That now are very important to inculcate among our students. I hope I answered, but you can answer your question too.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, attorney. Thank you so much, attorney. And also, Ma'am Carol. Okay, so I guess Ma'am Nas also agrees, no, to Attorney Nicolas. It's really a challenge for the people in the academe to nurture values in this generation. That is why in their GSTs, they often inject values orientation. Another question, I guess, from Ma'am Jean Matias. also from Northwestern University. Nakahook up talaga ang mga taga Northwestern University dito, ha? Parang marami ata tayong gender-based issues dyan. Okay, Ma'am Carol, question from Ma'am Jean. Changing mindsets in the university is quite challenging, but would it not be more challenging in changing mindsets of parents who are still holding on the old traditional beliefs on gender stereotypes and more of being in a patriarchal setup? What measures, if any, would be effective in getting them to be more acceptable of those God concepts? Ma'am Carol?
Yes, kaya nga, well, within the school, may parent-teachers association tayo. So we have mechanisms and platforms around which we can influence. I don't know whether you also have an orientation, well, sa DepEd dito, hindi sa HEIC to, where they orient the parents. Anyway, so within the school, we have mechanisms to try to influence the parents. Pagkatapos, mandated tayo to monitor also the safety of our students kahit nangyayari sa bahay. So if you have a counseling program at meron kayong estudyante na binugbog o sinaktan, you have the right to call the parents. Lawyers can do that, no? Lalo na yung legal or counseling office. So within the school premises, kaya nating sagutin yan through our counseling program, through the monitoring, after end of classes, no, merong evaluation form, ganyan. Dinalagyan namin ng mga gender topics, no, kung ano nangyayari sa bahay, lalo na ngayong pandemic, no, multiple burden, nag-aaral sila, nasa loob sila ng class, ng bahay nila. So, there are mechanisms around which we can monitor, and once we get the problem, we are able to help. Pero that's why the Philippine government also, through the Philippine Commission on Women, mandates LGUs. So, dapat yung school at saka yung LGU magtulungan. Kasi hindi natin magagawa lahat sa campus lang natin kung hindi katulong yung mga LGUs. So, yung mga experience na nararanasan namin, halimbawa, personal experience, no, meron kaming nakita na isang estudyante na binugbog siya. Tapos nakita namin, nasa barangay, Quezon City. Tawagan natin yung GAD committee ng Quezon City government. Kasi para kunin kagad ng pulis, ganyan. Kasi kailangan kung may police rescue, mga ganyan, hindi naman pwedeng makialam ang school, di ba? So the two answer is let's all use the mechanism within the school through our evaluation form, through our counseling program, through our gender sensitivity training, no, to track down ito. Tapos partnership with LGUs. Partnership with LGUs. We cannot work kung hindi natin din kasama yung mga LGUs. Yun yung 40 years kong work, talagang kailangan din natin talagang makipag-partner. Lalo na with the new Safe Spaces Act ngayon. Pag-ibayuhin natin talaga yung partnership. I hope I answered your question, no? Gawin natin, let's use all the mechanisms available, all the platforms available to monitor so that we can take immediate action. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Carol. Okay, that is the reason why we included local government units in this conference, in this digital conference. Okay, for us to be able to build strong partnership with them. Okay, because it is really important that us in the education sector need to work with our respective communities. Okay, so
may I add a little more for that? Ano naman ang pwede nating ibigay sa LGUs, no? Kami sa university, may abogado kami, may psychiatrist din kami, meron kaming mga nurses, ganon. So, in partnership with the LGUs, nagpo-provide din naman kami ng mga training sa kanila o pwede silang pumunta kung nangangailangan ng abogado. Ang karanasan namin, nag-memorandum of agreement, ganon. Ang mga schools pwedeng mag-memorandum of agreement. Pero maganda rin na influensyahan natin ng LGUs kasi nasa inyo lahat ang skills at saka nasa inyo ang mga talents eh. So maganda rin na, alam ko sa extension service nyo, busog na busog kayo sa ganyan. Pero maganda rin yung memorandum of understanding or memorandum of agreement para binding siya. Kasi ang nangyayari, nagpapalit ang mga LGU officials, no? Tapos nalulusaw yung mga yung mga partnership agreements, so mas maganda yung mga ginagawa, so mas maganda written yung mga agreements ninyo. Okay, sorry for adding that. Okay.
Okay, Ma'am Carol. Okay, nagpapasalamat po si Ma'am Jean Matias, Ma'am Carol. What I am relating is not, according to her, what I am relating is not mainly from the university, but are taken from communities where we undertake GAD and GST training. That is on cooperatives and barangays. Yes, I do agree with you, Ma'am Carol, and strongly adhere to the indispensable partnerships with local government units and other government agencies. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Jean. Okay, so hello, Ma'am Nats, nakita na kita. Okay, very good. Okay na ang internet natin dyan, ano? Yes, okay. We have another question from FB. This is from Ma'am Norma Esguera. Elvin, hindi ko makita sa sa FB yung comment ni Ma'am Norma. But Ma'am Carol, yung question po ni Ma'am Norma Esguera, I guess, you know Ma'am Norma, parang meron ata siyang minention doon sa FB page namin na she missed the SIDA 20 years ago. I do not know what is that SIDA, Ma'am Carol. Yung question po ni Ma'am Norma, Ma'am Carol, is pertaining to communications, I guess. Yung mga the use of chairman, the use of master bedroom instead of chairperson. Parang yun po yung thought ng question niya. Hindi ko makita yung yung question niya, Ma'am Carol. I guess this is about language.
Oo, talagang let's stop using sexist language na so chairperson, yung mga ganon. Matagal na. Tapos sa mga term papers ng mga estudyante, talagang turuan na ninyo sila. So meron na tayong vocabulary, meron kaming handbook which we can share with you na ginawa ni Dr. Quintanar. We can elaborate on it, pero meron na kaming parang dictionary na gumawa kami ng maliit. Vince, no, maybe you can share it with them. Parang non-sexist language. I strongly encourage na let's remove all of this hindi siya affirmative, non-affirmative language or sexist language. That is the bottom line in what we are doing. So palitan nyo na lahat, mga memorandum circular ninyo, syllabus ninyo, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Ma'am Carol. Ayun po, so kailangan po natin ng affirmative language sa lahat po ng mga communications at saka sa mga papers po na ginagawa natin inside the school. Okay, so any more questions from our participants? Dr. Agnier, Dr. Paraan, do you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on what President Ferdy said. It's true, no, that like when they show photos of themselves that other people find offensive, and then as Ma'am Carol said, sila naman yung unang nagrereklamo pag feeling nila na bastos sila. And so I just wanted to share that when we have discussions with our students, I always tell them that at the same time that they expect other people to respect their choices concerning their bodies, so what they wear, they should also respect other people's sensibilities, because you know, parang meron silang feeling na masyadong sarili lang nila, no? Very self-centered. And I always tell them that your individual liberties only extend up to the point when they do not infringe on other people's liberties. It's like the issue of wearing a mask. You want to go out in public, you cannot just walk around without a mask because other people are there sharing the same space with you. They have as much right to that space as you do. And so you have to show some consideration by wearing a mask. It's the same thing with when you decide to wear that and you go out in public, or you show your photos wearing those things, then you invite others to share their opinions. Other people have sensibilities that differ from yours. And, you know, being part of a society is learning to coexist at the very least. So yun, parang it's a hard balancing act for the kids at the same time that they're learning to assert themselves, to show their self-worth. They also have to learn how to show consideration for others. You know, so yun lang. I just wanted to share that. It's a discussion we often have.
Mom, very well said, Mom. May I enroll in your class? Siguro let's develop a training training on citizenship obligation. Citizenship obligations also, no? Citizens obligation and responsibility rin, no? Sige,
Yes.
Ma'am, I will enroll in your training if you have the. Pero you're right. You are right. It's one thing to assert your rights. It's one thing to respect the rights of others. Well said. Ang gaganda ng mga ano mo dun, no? Mga diploma mo.
UP! UP!
Saan ka sa UP?
UP Diliman po.
Hindi, anong kurso?
Philo po ang aking undergrad. And
Wow.
then MA Language and PhD English Studies po.
Wow! Wow! Sige, pagbalik mo sa Diliman, bublow out kita ng fish balls.
Sisitahin ko po kayo.
Fish balls lang ako ha. Fishball queen ako.
Banana
At saka,
banana Q.
at saka banana Q.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Paraan, for sharing your thoughts, and also Ma'am Carol. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Okay, so any more comments or any more questions to our speaker before we're going to award her certificate? Ma'am Nats, do you have any question?
Okay. Agree lang ako dun sa comment dun sa discussion ni Dr. Louie kanina, sir. Tama nga naman. Nagkakaroon na din kasi, Ma'am Carol, ng misconception dun sa self-expression na parang ang feeling nila, the way they dress, the way they act, whatever they post in their FB, parang feeling nila, you have to respect us kasi self-expression namin to. Parang ganon. So, it boils down dun sa sabi ni Sir, sa discussion din ni Sir Nicolas, na yung values, parang we really have to let them internalize kung hanggang saan ba yung self-expression natin, hanggang saan ba yung ipopost natin. And tamang-tama, yung si Dr. Louie na, yung sensitivity natin should not only be applied in us. Kailangan din natin i-consider yung sensitivity po ng iba. Yan lang, Sir Mel. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Nats. Okay, so merong dagdag dito si Dr. Paraan. I always tell our students that at the same time that they expect others to respect their choices, that is their choices, what to wear, they should also respect other people's sensibilities. The youth need to learn how to be aware of others as well. Society means learning how to coexist with others at the very least. An analogous situation is the issue of wearing masks. It's not just about individual liberties, but also about being considerate of other people's health and safety. If you want to go out in public, then you have the responsibility to be considerate of others. So I tell our students that it's the same thing with their choices on what to wear and how to behave. They need to balance their concepts of self-worth with consideration for others and learn to practice the discipline of being a responsible member of society. Thank you so much, Dr. Paraan, for that very important words that you've shared to us. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay, AB Pilo, sabi ni Attorney Ferdinand Nicolas. Talagang tiga-UP itong mga to, ha? Okay, so I guess,
Wag na, sir. Wag mo na basahin yun.
Okay, sige pa. All right, so I guess that's the end part of our first lecture with Dr. Carol. I would like to request, sorry Ma'am Carol ha, walang tiga Pangasinan na nagsalita or nag-ask ng questions. Anyway, we encourage everyone not to engage to our speaker this afternoon also, or you can also reach Dr. Carol. Okay, Dr. Carol, binigay naman ata niya kanina yung details, yung contact numbers through Sir Vince. Si Sir Vince, dito po ata. And also, thank you so much, Sir Vince Hermoso, for assisting Dr. Carol and for assisting us also for this particular webinar. So I would like to request our OIC Chief Education Program Specialist to award the e-certificate of our resource speaker. Ma'am Angie?
Hello! Nadidinig ako? Clear? Thank you so much, Ma'am Carol, for your time. Agyaman kami unay apo. Yes, ma'am.
Kayat ko, timbagam, apo. Sige.
When, ma'am. Kakabsat, kadoon da kadi nga mangibasa ti Certificate of Appreciation ni Ma'am Carol. Ay na. Parang ang galing-galing ko. Mag-Ilocano. Allow me to read the certificate. Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Dr. Caroline I. Sobrichea for generously sharing her expertise and knowledge as a special speaker for the topic Affirmative Language and Genderizing the Curriculum during the GADDCON 2020 Gender and Development Digital Conference held on December 1, 2020. As a staunch gender and development advocate and partner of the Commission, she has significantly contributed to the institutionalization of God in higher education. With her unrelenting efforts and passion to serve as a woman leader, she has sensitized and mobilized many sectors of society to champion women empowerment and gender equality. Signed, our Officer in Charge, Office of the Director for Dr. Rogelio T. Galera Jr. Again, agyaman kami unay, ma'am. Hangka ko mga mauguma, kanayon da kalatta nga imbita rin.
Salamat kakabsat. Kayat ko ti saluyot.
Oh.
Ay, kanak ti saluyot, no? Ada saluyot ita kwayo, rice field, ita field nyo,
Well, ma'am, itugutan da kanto, no may kamit ta Manila. Pag pwede ng face-to-face.
Ilocano ka ba, kuya? Hindi. Ikaw, Ilocano ka.
Opo, ma'am. Ilocano po ako.
Taga-Abaraday ta, ma'am.
Nagpapanggap.
Hindi, ma'am. Natutuwa lang ako dun sa ano. Iba kasi yung tawag doon, yung dinig mo kapag may nag-Ilocano.
Pero anong sexist language sa Ilocos? Gumawa rin kayong dictionary. Nung sexist.
Tama, ma'am. Oo,
Gawa rin kayong
tama po. Oo. So I think we encourage our state universities and colleges na gumawa din tayo ng Ilocano sexist language.
Mga bastos sa Ilocano.
Oo, mga bastos na mga Ilocano.
Ma'am Nata.
Ma'am Nata, Ma'am Veronica, nasan kayo?
Sir, baka makabasol na kanakpir nga Ilocano, iba nagnak Karo.
Ipanag din, grabe.
Region to si Madam.
Yes po.
Okay, so I guess that's the end point of our first session this morning. Thank you very much. Once again, ma'am, thank you very much, Ma'am Carol, for sharing your wonderful thoughts about affirmative language and for genderizing curriculum. Maraming salamat po for accepting our invitation to educate our God focus and God coordinators and also our school administrators who actively participated during our open forum. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Carol.
Salamat din.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we will be having a picture documentation purposes. So may I request all our participants to kindly open po yung ating mga camera. Tingnan natin kung sino ang prepared. Ready. Sige. Okay, so I will be asking the assistance of our technical team, Sir Elvin. Just give us a cue kung kailan po kami mag-smile or kung okay na ba ito, pwesto namin or yung video namin. Sir Elvin, please. Ilan ba tayo lahat dito? We have 102. Aba, na-break natin yung yung tawag dito, yung mga participants natin sa Zoom last week. Okay, so Sir Elvin. Okay, so picture po tayo. Ma'am Carol, your camera please. Okay, sige. Ako na lang po mag-picture. Okay, at ipadala ko doon sa GC ng Region 1 Information Board. Will that be okay? Okay, sige pa. Okay, ready? Okay, first group muna tayo. Smile. Okay, sandali lang at ilipat ko lang yung picture sa kabila. Okay. Next, second slide. Okay. Smile. Okay. Slide 3. Okay. Ready po? Smile. Ito to yung mga walang camera. Ayaw magpakita. Okay. Slide 4. Okay. And last. Siguro itong mga hindi nagpapakita, naka-work from home itong mga to. Okay, so that's it. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much, Ma'am Carol, for sharing, no, for educating our higher education institutions in the region, and also the local government units in the region. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Carol,
Salamat
and also
din.
Sir Vince.
Mel, anong
Yes,
oras yung kay Helen?
Ma'am, we will be resuming at 1:30 po kay Lola Helen po.
Pwede nyo akong papasukin din. Gusto kong makinig.
Yes po. Yes po. I will inform Sir Elvin po para makapasok po kayo.
Salamat. Gusto kong
Thank
makinig
you.
kay Helen. Salamat. Ingat
po.
kayo
Thank
lahat.
you. Ingat ka din po, ma'am. Maraming
Thank you po,
salamat
Doc.
po.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Okay. So to remind everyone, we'll come back. We'll resume at exactly 1:30 this afternoon for our second and third learning session for today. Our topic this afternoon pertains to research and extension. Okay, we invited Lola Helen, another Lola for gender and development, to discuss gender, pandemic and research. That would be her topic, and we will also be we also ask President Shirley Agrupis from Mariana Marcos State University to share their best extension practices, no, during the pandemic. So yun po yung mga antabayanan natin this afternoon. Just stay po dito sa ating room, or pwede po kayong mag-log in later on kung gusto po ninyong mag-exit, or pwede naman po kayong standby nyo lang, i-off nyo lang yung mga cameras niyo. Okay, so happy lunch, everyone. Hindi ko na po mahabol yung games natin. Baka abutin tayo ng 12:30. Minsanan na lang po mayang hapon yung mga parlor games natin, or yung mga online games po natin. Okay, so yun po. Kita-kita po tayo at exactly 1:30 this afternoon. Maraming salamat po for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Yes
you,
po.
Dr.
Good
Mel.
afternoon. Thank you.